Hey everybody, welcome back to Kicking in the Second Half, KISH YZ. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight. This is a podcast episode. I'm D, and I'm by myself doing this as a solo podcast. This is the weekend, but we're kind of wrapping things up with the NBA. The regular season's coming to a close by Sunday. So there's just a couple things I wanted to get in. Sorry it's kind of late because I had to work today. So normally I'm off on Fridays, but anyway, trying to get these pieces of content out, this last bit of content right before the regular season ends. But yeah, I was working on this content yesterday, and with today being Friday and later into the day, actually into the night, some things might not be up to date, but we'll give it a go anyway because it's still relevant to the close of the NBA season. So today, wanted to cover the last two games of the season. Basically, most teams have 3-2. Like I said, there's some games that are being played today. So basically just two games left. Whoever's playing today, there's some teams playing tomorrow if they didn't play today. And then it looks like everybody is playing Sunday, all 15, all 15 games, future all 30 teams of the league. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's been done before in modern times. Usually, like even on the opening night for the NBA, there's like a few games during opening night that day that's televised, and then the rest of the league basically plays the next day. So in 2 days, they cover 30 teams. But yeah, Sunday, from what it looks like, all teams will be done after Sunday night. So that's something to look forward to as well. If you're not working or busy, you can catch some of those games. If you have like, League Pass, I'm not sure what some of the channels are broadcasting those games. I'm assuming like ESPN or NBA TV, or combination of both, to be honest, because of how heavy that slate of games. So yeah, I wanted to, let's see, what can we dive into first? Since it's just me, I guess I can pick and choose however I want to. Um, One of the biggest things that's standing out to me, I just want to throw this out here, are the Phoenix Suns beatable? Until the Jazz are fully healthy, are they beatable? Because the Phoenix Suns, I mean, they're just beating up on everybody. They just won the game against the Portland Trailblazers, which looked like to be a tough game. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch that game, but looking at the score, it looked like, wow, that was a really close game. But ultimately, they're going to be one winner, and that winner happened to be the Phoenix Suns, which, man, that's just putting them on the roll. That's great momentum heading, into the last stretch here. And then if they pull off a couple more wins, I mean, who knows where they're going to be at. I mean, this is what's crazy about this NBA season. Because of the play-in tournament and because of the short NBA season, there's not a huge gap between some of these teams as far as if they want to climb up or if some teams are falling back. One thing I do want to update on, because I had, skipping around here, I had the West, that was the Western Conference is wrapped up as far as all the eliminated teams going into the play-in tournament have been eliminated. But just jumping forward, because I didn't want to get in the East as well. The East is finally wrapped up. Congrats to the Washington Wizards. They wrapped that up. All they needed was one more win within their last 2-3 games here to clinch the play-in berth. They lost the game the other night. They won today's game, which was against the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was a home game for the Washington Wizards, and no Bradley Beal there again, but Russ wrapped that up with the triple double. So they got that win in, and they're in the play-in tournament. But we'll touch back on that. So I don't want to skip too far ahead because of how I have my notes here. So let me just go back up to where I was. But yeah, just the Phoenix Suns. Just congratulations. Shout out to Tavern Geek, by the way, bro. Mike, I know you're a huge Phoenix Suns fan, and even when you're down in the dungeon, as far as being in the bottom of the NBA basement the last few seasons before last year. I mean, last year you didn't make it in the playoffs, but that was kind of crazy what happened, what went down with Devin Booker in the bubble, 8-0. So you knew something was boiling. And then when they added Chris Paul this year, that just put it over the top. And man, he is showing what talent he has to be an NBA vet. Obviously, not even just that. He's basically a Hall of Famer already, Hall of Fame talent right here on the court. And you pair him with a young, upcoming Hall of Fame type of player in Devin Booker, that is going to be amazing to watch this year in the playoffs. But once again, it's crazy this year because you don't know where the seeding is going to land as far as who's playing who in the first round. And we got a little bit of mix up, a little bit of shuffle where it doesn't always look like the underdogs are definitely at the bottom. I mean, I guess if you're at the bottom, you consider an underdog, but when you consider like a team like the Warriors or the Lakers being towards the bottom, even though I do see the Warriors as underdog because I wasn't expecting them to be this high up or competing at this level like this during the season without Klay Thompson being there. And man, it's going to be definitely interesting to watch. One thing that came across to me, obviously he's been talked about specifically, is Taylor Horton Tucker with the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, this guy's been balling the last couple of games, especially with LeBron and AD both being out, and they gotten some wins there, or at least one win. They won against the Rockets, which we know the Rockets are basically the joke of the league, so to speak. And but yeah, man, he's playing some great ball. He was with them last year. He's won a championship with them. Obviously, he's going to be on this ride for however far they can make it in the playoffs this season. But I mean, there's going to be teams that's going to be looking at him next year if the Lakers don't look to retain him. Or what an interesting thing the Lakers could do is possibly maybe do a sign and trade, which you never know who they could bring in with that. But with that talented young player there, and if they want to make a big move and they can afford some salary cap fluctuation as far as trading away certain pieces to make it work, you pair him with a Kyle Kuzma. If you need to see an improvement as far as adding another big name player, or maybe an all-star caliber player or borderline all-star caliber player, then that might be something that would be intriguing to other teams, is Taylor Horton Tucker. But yeah, just shout out to him in general. Not looking too far ahead past this season quite yet, but yeah, he's doing some big things and he's looking really good. So, his offseason stock is definitely going up. So keep an eye on him as well, just for in the play-in tournament, just to see how they do. But that's if the Lakers make the play-in tournament. I mean, they're right there on the border. They're sitting in 7th. I think Portland does hold the tiebreaker over them, but with Portland losing against the Phoenix Suns, that makes the Lakers just a little bit closer. So, we'll see what the chain events occur between, if Portland wins or loses games and the Los Angeles Lakers continue to win games. I think obviously at this point, both teams have like 2 games left to be played for the regular season. So still a shakeup there, and Dallas as well as in that mix. So I think maybe Dallas holds the tiebreaker over the Portland Trail Blazers. But yeah, just see who wins the last 2 games and who basically ultimately loses the last 2 games is more important than winning at this point, because like I said, of the who's holding the tiebreakers. But going over to the Eastern Conference, let's shout out to the Miami Heat, because they have woken up. Well, actually, they've been steady climbing here lately. We just don't talk about them, and that's what they like. That's their style, their team strategy. Like, they're just underdogs. They are dogs. I mean, Jimmy Butler. I mean, Bam's getting into that. I mean, just the whole organization all together, they're just gritty and grimy, and they don't want you to see them coming. They want to bite you in the butt. So, you turn your back and then like, oh, I need to start running, but they're right there already. And yeah, they're in the mix. I mean, they're like in 4th place, like a team that looked like, okay, where are they at? Where are they going to fall in this playoff or play-in race? And boom, there they are, climbing up steady. Like, they're beating some teams that they need to beat, and they're getting in the form and getting in the shape. They're going to be ready for this these playoffs, because they're not going to be in the play-in tournament. And that's what's very intriguing of how they've turned things around over the last month and a half, maybe 2 months. Let's just go ahead and say, since we've been starting this podcast back in early March. And I want to say again, because I keep saying it and I'm being consistent with it, bubble fatigue is a real thing. And I feel like the Miami Heat have finally shaken off that bubble fatigue. And, this year started out not being really an honest NBA season as far as sizing up talent and what teams look like legit candidates. You always get a shakeup, but some of the teams that came in that looked underwhelming and underperforming, turn things around later on. The Denver Nuggets being one of them with Jamal Murray, but unfortunately he's hurt and he's not going to be playing the rest of the season. But, he started off very slow as well. But yeah, the Miami Heat, even though they lost Victor Oladipo for the remaining of the season, I mean, go figure there that what are the chances of that happening? That's very unfortunate there. But the Miami Heat really didn't lose much to be where they're at this year compared to last year. And they've added, some other time. I don't want to get too far on that because I do want to do some segments coming up on X factors. But yeah, just look out for those videos where we're going to run down basically the X factors of each playoff team. And then we're also going to do videos on the play-in teams. Then after the play-in tournament is done, when it comes to the playoffs, we're going to do each matchup as far as, each first round matchup on the Eastern Conference and each first round matchup on the Western Conference. So we'll throw in a little bit more detail there. But the Wizards, yeah, like I said, the Wizards already wrapped things up. It's another team in the East. So yeah, there's all the 11 through 15 seeding for both conferences, all been eliminated officially. So Kings are out, the Pelicans are out. Zion, once again, his second NBA season, just a second, but has not made an NBA playoff. So keep an eye on that because, obviously he's going to be there for a while. They're going to try to extend him out, pay him whatever they need to pay him. But man, if this continues to be that pattern, he's probably going to want out eventually. But, that's a huge speculation to be this far away from anything potentially happening as far as him leaving. But, it's 2 in a row. And if you see somebody like Ja, who you grew up playing basketball with, basically on his way to make it into his first play-in or playoff, potentially by going through this play-in tournament, then that's going to kind of put a chip on your shoulder. So we'll see what happens next with that. And yeah, let me just go ahead and jump in because I'm basically just just trying to do this on my own with nobody really to go back and forth with, so probably speeding up through some of these topics faster than we normally would, but that's okay, not a big deal here. And what is that? Am I hearing something? I guess it's the TV upstairs. My bad. Didn't mean to get distracted. It's just kind of eased on in there. But yeah, let's go to the East. So just to wrap up some games, like I said, there's games currently being played. So this may not be very accurate at all. But as of the time of me starting this before Friday's games, so after Thursday, but before Friday's games, so hopefully I get this posted pretty soon. Or if you're listening to this first thing on Saturday, then like I said, just go ahead and check some of the standings just to clear up anything that's changed. But Boston, they're in the play-in tournament as of right now. They're not going to get out of it because it's pretty much locked in. That's where they're going to be, and they're sitting at the 7th spot. So obviously, if you're 7th or 8th, you only need one game to win to be in the playoffs. Obviously, you win that first round, then you're the 7th. If you lose that first round and you win the second round, you're the 8th. But Boston, they're up 2. They're playing at Minnesota on Saturday and at New York City on Sunday. So back-to-backs to end the regular season. No Jaylen Brown. Kemba, will he play back-to-back? I don't know. Most likely not, because they have not been playing Kemba for back-to-backs, and they're definitely going to need him for the play-in tournament. So we'll see which game he winds up ultimately playing in. I would assume he probably would want to play in the New York game because, it's New York, size up your competition, but that might be a tougher game. And, that'll be a game in case something happens where he has one day less of rest versus if he played in the Minnesota game on Saturday and sat out Saturday's game with New York. But yeah, keep an eye on Boston. They hold the tiebreakers over Indiana and Charlotte, who come in behind them. Charlotte, I think, is the 8th team, and Indiana was the 9th, and the Wizards 10th. Congratulations there. And Charlotte and Indiana were tied 33-37. Yeah, I think one of those teams, if not both, are playing tonight. I can't remember who's playing what. Well, let's see. I think I got it written down here, actually. Let me back that up. I do know who's playing. Charlotte is playing at the New York Knicks in New York on Saturday, followed by at Washington on Sunday. So 2 back-to-back games that are travel games. So that's going to be, some low jet lag there, some fatigue from the game before when it comes to Washington. And if Russ is rolling in, that's going to be a game to watch. So, everything's going to come down to the wire here. And then let's go to Indiana, who sits in currently the 9th place in the East. They're playing the Lakers Saturday, We might not see LeBron. We might not see AD. We probably will see THT, but not sure. Probably see Kuzma maybe. We'll see what the Lakers are rolling with. I think the Lakers are going to try to maybe see where they're at and who they're possibly playing. If something changes up north in the standings on the West, they might want to stay where they're at in the seventh seed. But yeah, the Indiana Pacers are playing the Lakers, a home game for Indiana on Saturday, and then, like I said, this is another back-to-back. They're finishing up Sunday, playing at the Raptors, which is not Toronto, but should be Tampa on Sunday. And we know the Raptors are not a play-in tournament team, not a playoff team this year, just a rebuilding team. Wow. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, Indiana could easily win one of these games, maybe both of these games, or none of these games. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, because either way, they've clinched the play-in berth and they're sitting in ninth. So if they did slide to 10th, either way, they're looking at playing in the second round, just to try to make it to the playoffs, assuming they win the first round. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I just want to backfill you with that. And then let's go on to Friday, which is today. The Wizards had a home game because they've already played as of the making of this video versus Cleveland, and they won that game. So they clinched the play-in berth, but they're still at 10th. They're now half a game behind Charlotte and Indiana. And like I said before, I think the Wizards actually hold the tiebreaker over Indiana, but not Charlotte. So if Indiana slips and they wind up tying there, then the Wizards will definitely move up to 9th. They could potentially get up to 8th if if Charlotte loses as well. So with Charlotte playing the Knicks, that might be a tough game there. And then with Charlotte playing Washington, because this is the Wizards' home game on Sunday versus Charlotte, that might change things drastically there, where you might see the Wizards take over the 8th spot, possibly the 7th, but I think the 7th might be out of the reach. I can't remember if the Celtics lose both their games and the Wizards move up. But let's just say they take over the 8th spot and the Charlotte Hornets slide down to 9th, then the Wizards will have 2 chances to make the playoffs officially, and they could possibly beat the Celtics and take the 7th spot if Bradley Beal is back, which hopefully he'd probably return around that time. They definitely would want him there so they can basically lock in a playoff spot. But yeah, that's going to be a great matchup there, just because both of those teams could potentially play each other in the play-in tournament, or maybe avoid each other. Something's going to probably shake up there, and I would go ahead and say the Wizards will probably win that game, but who knows? But let's go back to the West, and let's talk about what's going on there, what could shake up a little bit there. We're looking at Portland. Portland has 1 game left versus Denver, if I did that right. 1 game left. So if they have 1 game left, because they're not playing tonight, which is Friday, and they're not playing Saturday, they're playing Sunday. And wow, what a game. What a game to end the regular season, because Portland, they're not going to want to slip. They're not going to want to be a play-in tournament. They don't want to trade spots with the Lakers. And Denver, if they win, they can potentially, if they win and the Clippers lose a game or 2, not sure how far off they are. I think they're like a game behind, but the Denver Nuggets could possibly move up to 3rd place and take over 3rd from the Clippers, which would send them down to 4th. So 2 big things to watch on either end, but Portland doesn't want to be in the play-in. They were in the play-in last year, and that will affect you going into the first round, because if you're playing through that extra game, because you want to be in the playoffs, you got to win at least 1. So why waste the first one just to play a second one and then have even less time to rest for the play-in playoffs? Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of stuff going on there that you don't want to really deal with if you're the Portland Trailblazers. You want to wrap this up. But Denver, man, they got like the MVP over there. They got Nikola Jokic. So if Nikola Jokic is over there and he's doing what he always does on a consistent basis, that's going to be a tough matchup for Portland. And it could go either way for me, in my opinion. So that's something to definitely watch out. I'm liking some of these Sunday matchups. Like, wow, shout out to your bud 36, but what a Sunday fun day Sunday, because things are going to probably shake up. But I mean, if the underdogs don't win, then things will kind of stay the same. But I'm looking for things to go down big time. So like, let's just look back at Portland. Portland's half a game up on Los Angeles Lakers. So just a half game up. So they lose, they're basically tied, but I think they might hold the tiebreaker. And then they're half a game down from Dallas, and I think the Dallas Mavericks hold the tiebreaker with Portland. So yeah, it's just that close. But like Portland has one game left. They basically have to win that game because unless you're hoping that the Dallas Mavericks lose both their games or the Los Angeles Lakers lose both of theirs. But if the Lakers were to win one game, then that's going to make it tight there. But then if the Lakers, let's see, if the Lakers win one game and the Portland Trailblazers lose that game, I don't know. It's going to be close. So just look out for that. And wow, that's something that should be circled as far as one of the key games on Sunday night to finish the NBA season. Wow, what a finish. And then let's go to Golden State. Golden State, they are 33-13. That's their record. And Memphis is 33-13, but Golden State is in the 8th spot right behind the Lakers, and the Memphis Grizzlies are in the 10th. So obviously it looks like Golden State holds the tiebreaker with the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies are playing the Kings at home, and they're playing Golden State. Nope. Did I look at wrong? I'll look at that totally wrong. I see. Okay, let's see. Memphis is playing the Kings. I don't know why I didn't put the date, but that's a home game for Memphis. And Golden State is playing the Pelicans. That's a home game for Golden State. So maybe both of these games are potentially Saturday. Yes. Okay, I finally figured out my own notes. Sorry, like I said, I did this yesterday. So it looks like Saturday, Memphis has a home game against the Kings, which is a team that's completely eliminated from the playoffs. So that might be an easy win for them right there, with Marvin Bagley being set out the last several games, basically for a while now. De'Aaron Fox has been out for protocols. Don't know if they would want to bring him back just for 1 or 2 games left in the season. Harrison Barnes has been sitting out. So basically, this could be a throwaway game, but the Memphis Grizzlies definitely need to seal this up if they want to advance. But Golden State Warriors, same deal. They're playing the Pelicans, and they're going to want to wrap that game up as well, especially it being a home game. So they're playing the Pelicans. Just depending on what they want to do, they might low manage Zion, or probably wouldn't play at all. And who knows if Brandon Ingram is playing. So this might be a giveaway, give the Golden State Warriors like an automatic win there. So if, let's say, both of these teams win on Saturday, that puts them, again, same record, 9th and 10th. Golden State holds a tiebreaker. Sunday, another interesting matchup. After I thought the last one would probably be it. No, this one. Sunday's matchup is the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Golden State Warriors. How ironic that is. That's a home game for Golden State. So this is going to be playoff, play-in atmosphere basketball before the play-in and playoffs begin. In my opinion, that's what it should be. I mean, it's the last game of the season. Obviously, you're both in the play-in tournament, but it's kind of bragging rights and momentum going forward. If one wins over the other, assuming they both have the same record, then somebody's going to be in the 8th spot and somebody's going to be in the 9th spot. So that means one team has the opportunity to win just the first game to make it in the playoffs, versus the other team that's in the 9th or 10th spot would have to win 2 games in a row to be in the play-in playoff spot. So that's definitely going to be something I would want to watch out for as well. So definitely circle Portland versus Denver. That's a main one. Then follow that up. I'm not sure the order of these games, but Golden State versus Memphis, assuming that they're tied after Saturday's slate of games. And let's go ahead and, like I said, say Friday, not Friday, but Sunday as well, the Wizards versus the Charlotte Hornets. So that's cool. We just got a slate of games here that is interesting how this actually matches up unknowingly, I guess, as far as it being that close to each other's records, your opponent's record, like, basically just holding it down in your spots respectively, but there can only be one winner. So somebody's going down and somebody's going up for sure. So definitely look out for that. And yeah, also, like I said, Sunday, or did I give the Lakers? I might not have because I see them at the bottom here. So the Lakers, I already mentioned they play Indiana. That's Saturday, but on the other end of their back-to-back, since everybody's playing Sunday, they're playing the Pelicans Sunday. So the Pelicans, man, wow, on Saturday you're playing Golden State, and then you have to follow that up against the Lakers. And maybe, just maybe, LeBron might be playing in that one, and or AD, because if it comes down to it and you need that win to get out the play-in tournament, that's might be what you want to do. But then again, you might be looking at who you're playing in the first round. Would you rather play like Denver, or would you rather play, the Clippers? I don't think you want to play the Clippers, so it might just depend on where they're at. Like, this is going to be interesting on the strategy here of what teams might want to do, if they might want to go out and ball out and have a hard fought game, or just kind of rest up because are you already in the play-in tournament? Or if you're the Lakers, you might be like, okay, do I want to go above 7th and step into 6th place, or not, because it just depends on your first round matchup when you're considering some of these players getting back to shape and back into rhythm. But yeah, it's definitely going to be what I call a cluster. You know what I mean? On Sunday, and I can't wait to see the end results. Fortunately, I will probably be working unless I can leave a little bit early, and maybe catch some of these games. But I just will definitely be catching up on these scores in Instagram, and just staying on top of it, because it's going to be a whole new day come Monday. And then what is Monday? I can't remember the date for that, but I think Tuesday should start the play-in tournament. The 18th, whatever the 18th is, I think that's Tuesday. So yeah, 3 days there of games between the Eastern Conference on one side and the Western Conference on the other side. Like I said, I have a video on YouTube if you want to watch that, on how the play-ins and playoff tournaments work. Obviously, the playoffs work the same as they always have in the last decade or so, but the play-in tournament is something new, and it's a little bit different than last year, how they did the format, but it's still kind of similar to last year, as it being a single elimination game. But there's obviously 2 rounds again, like last year. And yeah, not to re-explain that, go check the video if you want to go see that. But yeah, this is basically all I had to say, but I did want to get this out here because it is just narrowing down, and we do have some plans, some videos we want to drop next week for y'all when it comes to, like I said, the matchups, the predictions, and obviously might throw in the teams who are getting booted out as far as the ones who are already gone fishing. So let's stay tuned for that. And yeah, catch us here on KISH YZ. If you're listening to the audio only, obviously you're probably on was Anchor.fm, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pocketcasts, Breaker, I think is another one. There might be 1 or 2 more. I don't think we're everywhere quite yet, but yeah, definitely check us out on those platforms if you want to listen to audio only. And if you're listening to audio only, make sure you go over to our YouTube page. You can see these videos of the podcast, and also some of our other drops, as far as we do shoe segments, we do debates, we do PPFs, where we break down a player individually, past, present, and future. And then we have some other exploratory content that we're throwing out there that we haven't gotten back to quite yet, but I think it'll be great for when the off season starts. But yeah, definitely keep updated there. And yeah, if you go to YouTube, turn the notification bell on. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't. That way it makes it a lot easier for you to keep up with our content. And yeah, once again, shout out to our other what do you want to call it, like co-branding channel, Tavern Geek. Shout out to Micah, Phoenix Suns fan. I'm featured over there sometimes when we do the NBA podcast over there, and we cover some vintage players as well with that, where we're more up to date on current things here on KISH YZ. And shout out to Your Bud 36, because he's on that podcast with me as well, and he's featured on here sometimes as a special guest, and he's a Twitch streamer, so catch him on Twitch at YourBud36, YOURBUD 36. I'll leave that in the description, as well as all this other information I've given y'all. So please stay tuned and catch us later. Once again, I am D, and this was Kicking in the Second Half. Everybody, peace and love.